So the first thing we're going to cover is channels, and that's just going to be the trading range that the price moves throughout. So that's going to be our first thing that we're going to cover. And if you're not set up on this website on TradingView, then I can get you set up on there and get your charting set up so you'll have the same kind of thing that I have right here. So once you have this set up, the first thing we're going to focus on is channels, and that's going to be this right here, drawing those, and then from there we'll build onto that. But the first thing we're going to cover is just channels. So when you go up throughout a chart, the first thing is recognizing the trend. So we see that there's an uptrend right here. So we want to know how to draw a channel around this, and then that's going to be the range that the price is trading in. So when we draw a channel, we'll draw the top, and then we'll try to connect the bottom as well. And then you can see the midline is also respected. You can see that the price tries to break through it as well. So this is going to be our first key, is just getting these channels down, and then we can connect everything further with support and resistance levels like this and Fibonacci and things like that. But the first thing is getting these channels down and making sure that you can draw those correctly. So to do that, you just want to go back, and I use the 1 hour, the 4 hour, and the daily chart. You can use any of these, it doesn't matter. The 1 hour and the 4 hour are what I would start out with. So this is a 1 hour chart. So to practice drawing channels, we would just go back and we would try to find these trends in here. So you can see that there's a downtrend and an uptrend, another downtrend, a slight uptrend. We want to practice drawing the channels around those so we can get better at recognizing where those channels and where those trading ranges are. So for example, for this downtrend, we would grab the channel tool down here and we would draw in the top, and then we drag it to the bottom like that. And then you can see that price gets rejected from the middle as well as both of the sides, and it's even, so it's really specific with where these are supposed to be. So that's why when we practice, when we draw them like this, you can start to get an idea of how to draw them the right way, and that's going to be the key. So there's that downtrend, and now for this uptrend we'll do the same thing. We'll grab the channel tool, and then we'll draw in these channels like this. And then this just helps us get better at where to draw them and where to put these trend lines. And then that's going to help you when you get into live trading and you're plotting your charts. So the first key is just to practice this as much as possible. And for every trend, you're going to want to find that trend channel and where it's at, like this. And that's going to be our first key. That's going to be the most important part, is just practicing as much as possible to get in where these channels are going to be. And then that's going to help us get into the live market and draw these in real time, like this one right here, like where we had the channel like this. So we know that the market's right in the middle of this channel, so we either want to buy when it gets towards the bottom, or we can sell after it gets back up to the top up here, because the channels always are going to go from top to bottom or from one side to the next, and that's how we're going to trade it. So that's our first key. The first key is just practicing drawing these channels as much as possible, and then from there we can start to figure out where the market's at, and then we'll build onto that and then make There's different other tools that we can use to help get entry points to figure out if we should buy down here or sell up here, things like that. So the first key is just going to be drawing these channels for every trend. So for every trend that you see, you want to just practice drawing in these channels, kind of like I did back up here. For every trend that you see, you want to draw that channel for every trend that you can find. And then this is the current trend channel that it's in. But you just want to practice drawing these channels in, and that's going to help us get really, really good at knowing where to draw the edges of the channel, and then we can connect it all together. So, like I said, the 1 hour or the 4 hour chart, that's going to be the first key, just practicing on any of those, and then practice drawing in these channels, and then from there, after you've gotten comfortable with drawing the channels and things like that, then we can move on to other things inside of these channels.